The mist hung low over the quaint English village as I approached the ivy-clad manor that had been in my family for generations. My name is Eleanor Thompson, and I had returned to our ancestral home after receiving an urgent letter from my estranged brother, Charles. The letter spoke of family ghosts that haunted the hallways, souls trapped within the very walls of our home, unable to find peace. As I entered the creaking front door, memories of childhood laughter and the warmth of family gatherings flooded my mind. However, the air in the manor felt different now, heavy with an unspoken sorrow that whispered through the grand corridors. The once welcoming portraits that adorned the walls now seemed to gaze mournfully at me. My brother Charles, a man of logic and reason, greeted me with a forced smile. His eyes betrayed a weariness that spoke of countless nights spent haunted by the unseen. As we sat in the dimly lit drawing room, he began to unravel the tales of our family ghosts, apparitions that lingered within the confines of the manor, tethered to the memories of their earthly lives. The first ghost was that of our great-grandmother, Lady Victoria Thompson. A stern and imposing figure in life, her spirit had become a tormented soul, unable to abandon the responsibilities she had shouldered in the material world. Charles recounted how her ghostly figure, clad in a flowing Victorian gown, would wander the halls, her spectral eyes fixed on an unseen duty. The second specter, he explained, was that of my favorite aunt, Eleanor, after whom I had been named. Aunt Eleanor had met a tragic end in the manor decades ago, her laughter silenced by an untimely demise. Charles spoke of hearing her soft weeping echoing through the corridors, the mournful sobs of a spirit unable to reconcile with the injustice of her fate. Intrigued and slightly skeptical, I agreed to spend the night in the manor to witness the alleged paranormal phenomena. As darkness enveloped the ancient estate, I felt a chill in the air that went beyond the biting English cold. The shadows seemed to dance, and the portraits on the walls appeared to shift, their eyes following my every move. As the clock struck midnight, the air grew thick with a palpable tension. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls as I wandered the moonlit corridors. It was then that I heard it, the soft weeping, a haunting lament that echoed through the manor. Intrigued and unsettled, I followed the sound to the room that had once belonged to my ill-fated aunt. The door creaked open with a mournful sigh, revealing a room frozen in time. The antique furniture stood draped in dusty sheets, and the air smelled of aged memories. In the moonlight, I saw her, a translucent figure seated at the vanity, her eyes downcast, eternally trapped in a moment of sorrow. It was Aunt Eleanor's ghost, her presence so vivid that I could almost feel the weight of her grief. As I approached, she lifted her eyes, meeting mine with a haunting intensity. I felt a surge of empathy and whispered words of comfort, but her ethereal form remained unmoved. The room seemed to resonate with the echoes of her tragedy, the walls holding onto the pain of a life cut short. Determined to uncover the truth, I delved further into the family archives, searching for any clues that might explain the restless spirits within our home. In dusty journals and faded letters, I discovered a pattern, a recurring theme of unfulfilled desires, untold secrets, and lives interrupted by tragedy. The spirits of Lady Victoria and Aunt Eleanor were not bound by malevolence, but by an unresolved sense of duty and injustice. Lady Victoria's spectral figure continued to oversee the affairs of the manor, her ghostly presence a manifestation of the responsibility she could not relinquish, even in death. Aunt Eleanor, on the other hand, wept for a life stolen too soon, her spirit unable to move on without closure. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I enlisted the help of a local medium, a woman rumored to have the ability to communicate with the other side. Together, we conducted a seance in the dimly lit drawing room, inviting the family ghosts to share their stories and find solace. In the flickering candlelight, the air crackled with an otherworldly energy. Lady Victoria's ghost appeared, her stern countenance softening as she acknowledged the weight she carried. Aunt Eleanor's spirit, still trapped in sorrow, began to reveal the circumstances of her untimely death. The medium, a conduit between the living and the dead, helped facilitate a conversation that spanned the realms of the supernatural. As the seance unfolded, I felt a profound sense of release in the atmosphere. The family ghosts, their stories finally acknowledged, began to dissipate like morning mist. Lady Victoria's spectral figure faded with a sense of accomplishment, and Aunt Eleanor's weeping ceased, replaced by a serene stillness. In the aftermath of that haunting night, the manor underwent a transformation. The heavy air lifted, and the portraits that once seemed to gaze mournfully now exuded a sense of peace. Charles, no longer haunted by the tormented spirits, found solace in the newfound serenity that enveloped our ancestral home. The family ghosts, their souls finally unburdened, had found release from the confines of the manor. As I stood in the now hushed halls, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the opportunity to reconcile the past and bring peace to the restless spirits that had lingered within the walls of our family home for far too long.